Welcome to Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel. Chris Lee and Chase Robinson here to give you insight on Auburn's hosting Missouri. That game, 6:45 Central on the SEC Network. Auburn, a 1.5-point favorite at FanDuel with an over-under of 43.5. We'll get into who we think is going to win and why momentarily. Before we do, reminder, we are brought to you by our friends at Game Time Sidekicks, which make officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, 350 other universities, everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16 gets you 20% off your entire order at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Also brought to you by the HOF app. Smart bettors rely on data. HOF hands you powerful analytics at your fingertips to tilt the odds in your favor, improve your chances of winning using historical data, matchup grades, trends, and player performance insights. HOF was created by Ivy League sports geeks to let everyday fans bet smarter. For a limited time only, listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they get 50% off their first month when they use code SE16 at checkout. Download the HOF app on iOS or Android, enter code SE16, and you're all set. All right, Chase, both teams coming off losses here, losses that came about in different kinds of ways. What stands out to you between Auburn and Missouri off the jump?
Well, I mean, I think for Auburn, that first half against Georgia, where they dominated the Bulldogs for the first 29 minutes of the game, and then a huge turning point, and they ended up just could not produce anything offensively in the second half. And I thought that game was definitely winnable for Auburn going into it. And then the first half, I thought it was definitely winnable for Auburn. And then Missouri, they kept themselves in the game, had opportunities against Alabama. I think this is Auburn obviously dying for an SEC win. Missouri wants to continue to prove that they're legitimate again this year. It's a fascinating matchup, Chris, when it comes down to it. And defense for both teams is what I'm really interested for different reasons, but
Yeah.
I'm really interested in defense on both sides for these two teams.
Yeah, I think both teams have really good defense. And I know Auburn, I mean, my goodness, Auburn is the punchline of everything right now, but I still think there's a good football team in there somewhere. Now, whether Auburn can get to it or not, it is another story. It did for 29 minutes last weekend against Georgia, which shows you what this team can be. And then there was the rest of the game, which was a different matter. And also a team that just kind of can't catch a break right now. So there's also that. I think that kind of has gotten to Auburn's psyche. But Auburn allowing, 4.8 yards per play and has faced some good offenses. Baylor, Oklahoma when John Mateer was healthy-ish. Texas A&M, Georgia, all good offenses. Missouri, on the other hand, just on a per-play basis, this has been the best team in the league. Now, some of that has just been because of schedule. Missouri's schedule has not been what Auburn's has been, but Missouri averaging 6.7 yards a play on offense, 4.0 flat on defense. But here's the thing. Missouri's averaging 76 offensive snaps a game and 55 for its defense. So just holding the ball, going to win you a lot of games. Now, look, Alabama flipped the script on Missouri last week, outsnapped Missouri 75 to 56. If Auburn's going to get a win that it needs, I think maybe ball control offense, running with Jackson Arnold will be a thing. Running out of your tailback position going to be another thing. But Missouri's run defense has been pretty good. So, that's a lot of words there, Chase. What else stands out to you here?
Well, I think when you look at Auburn defensively, they are 11th nationally when it comes to their run defense. They only give up 86.5 yards per game on average. The Auburn's run defense does. So to me, a big part of this game is for any team who plays Missouri is slowing down Ahmad Hardy. And Alabama did that last week. And I think Auburn could very well really slow him down this week based off the run defense we've seen from Auburn this season. And so that's going to be a huge factor. If you're able to slow down a guy like Ahmad Hardy, your chances of winning increase. And so that's what
Yeah.
Auburn's looking to do. But then you look at the other side, and I said defense for both teams is what interests me. The pass rush for Missouri has been really good, and they were able to sack Ty Simpson a couple of times last week. And you get a couple of pass rushers in there, and Damon Wilson and Zion Young, who've been great. They both rank in the top three in the SEC in pressures. And we've seen Auburn the offensive line has struggled protecting Jackson Arnold, and so this is a Missouri pass rush who is very capable of putting a lot of pressure on Jackson Arnold all night long. And that's what's going to be a problem for Auburn. Jackson Arnold is going to have to get the ball out of his hands. He can't take sacks like we've seen him do a lot this season. And so those two things, the run defense for Auburn, the pass rush for Missouri, those are two major factors to me when I look at this game.
Yeah, man, you brought up a bunch of things there, Chase, that I wanted to dive into. First of all, Ahmad Hardy got banged up late in that Alabama game. I don't guess we have much of an update on that as
No,
of
we don't.
Monday morning. I mean, I would think he's going to play, but just that's worth a mention.
No, most certainly. And yeah, I was looking before we started doing this, and yeah, no update on him at this point. But yeah, that he'll be a huge part. If he's healthy, if he's playing, all those kind of things. Missouri always needs him at his best, I feel like.
Yeah, and look, Missouri does have some depth. It can also run from the quarterback spot with Bo Perbula. So that's a thing to point out too. But I think if you're like an Auburn fan, the mention of a pass rush sends chills up your spine. I know Georgia only got 1 sack against Auburn, but Georgia not really a rush the passer team. You go back in some of these games this year, 5 sacks allowed to Texas A&M, 9 to Oklahoma, or 10 depending on who was counting, even 5 against Ball State. And look, the mistakes, some of them are coming from the offensive line too. Auburn's penalized 103 yards against Georgia. 69 against A&M the week before, 85 against Oklahoma. Like, this has been a team in Auburn that has minimized the turnovers, which were the issue last year, but now just the leaks are coming in different places.
It really is, and that's been a huge part of why things have gone the way they has as of late for Auburn. Penalties is a big thing, and I was looking at something earlier as far as penalties go. Auburn is one of the worst teams in college football out of the 136 or whatever teams there are in college football. Auburn's in the 130s when it comes to penalties. Like they are a very penalized team, and you can't do that against a team like Missouri. You've got to play disciplined football, and so that's one of the leaks for Auburn has been penalties in inopportune times, and so that is definitely something that needs to be cleaned up. Playing, you're at home, you're at home against Missouri. You got to play a clean football game.
Yeah. Yeah. In any other storylines in this one before we get to picks?
I think this is just it's a bounce back game for both teams for different reasons. Like I mentioned at the top, Auburn just needs a conference win. And to me, this is a winnable game for Auburn. There's no doubt about it. This is a winnable game for the Tigers. But the other Tigers in Missouri, they're coming off a loss too against Alabama in a game that they want back. They left some plays on the field. So both teams are hungry here, which I think is setting up for a fun matchup.
Yeah. And picks here. We'll just start with you.
I mentioned this is a very winnable game for Auburn, and would surprise me none if they won this game at home Saturday night. I don't trust Auburn. They need to. They have a lot to show me for me to be able to put my confidence, my pick in them. I'm going to take Missouri. I think Missouri is very good this year. I think the pass rush, like we talked about, is going to be huge in forcing Auburn to make mistakes. I've got Missouri winning this game.
Yeah, I do too. I think the wrong team is favored here. And I just question, like, does the dam burst at some point? Auburn's been in all these games, but just you got to be a little demoralized. Even your head coach, you can just see it. He feels a little defeated himself. Now, again, I think there's a really good team in here. If they can somehow get the ball to their playmaking wide receivers, then this is a different type of game. But they just haven't. And one thing that kind of went lost in Missouri's loss to Alabama, and I know stats don't always tell you the story. Missouri's defense gave up 4.3 yards a play to a really good Alabama defense in a loss last week. You mentioned penalties and discipline. Penalty yards for Missouri working backwards from what I've got. 45 against Alabama, 5 against UMass, 54 against South Carolina, 35 against Louisiana. I had 70 in each of the first 2 games, but those are good numbers as many penalty flags are being thrown. And turnovers have really been something that Missouri's avoided on offense for the most part until the Alabama game. So I just look at this, and I don't even know if being in home field for Auburn is an advantage at this point.
Yep.
I think as many fans that want Hugh Freeze gone. So I'm with you. I feel like the wrong team's favored. I think Missouri's the most underrated team in the league. And it's going to go in and get a road win. But, hey, one thing to point out, first road game of the year for Missouri. So
That's a good point.
haven't been in this spot either. I want to ask you what you think on the over-under in just a minute, because I think 43.5 in a game involving Missouri, which is averaging, 42 points a game, kind of interesting. It probably tells you a lot about the public's faith in Auburn to score. Before I get your answer on that, reminder, we are brought to you by Yearly Company, which is a Nashville-based fine jewelry brand built on tradition, designed for meaning. Each piece is handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold and natural gemstones, made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle is custom-sized. So knowing your size is the most important first step before ordering. That is where their sizing kit comes in. It is the perfect place to start, especially for husbands who want to have sizes ready now. So shopping closer to the holidays is effortless. Use code SE16KIT, SE16KIT. That gets you a free sizing kit at your checkout. Hey, get your orders in. Get Christmas taken care of for your wife ahead of time. You'll be very pleased you did. Also brought to you by Rockform. I use their stuff, love it in the car and at home. It makes the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, and rock lock secure mounting. This is the busiest time of the year with a new iPhone release, SEC25, that is. Get you 25% off your entire order. Also brought to you by Hovey Dry Goods. My Titans stink, but I love wearing this hat. They've got 2 Titans hats they've sent me. Love them both. They make high-quality headwear with a great fit and unique designs. Bad Beat, B-A-B, B-A-D, B-E-A-T. Get you 15% off your entire order at hoveydrygoods.com. Chase, over under 43.5 is lower than I thought. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I would take the over. That is pretty low to me in a game like this, when we really know what Missouri's capable of offensively. Perbula's looked great. Yeah, I feel like that's a little low.
Yeah, I trust Missouri's coaching and quarterback play more. Auburn just feels snake bitten. I mean, this could be the day. You see this with teams that have really good defenses and the offense that just can't get it done. Sometimes you just see that game where everything goes against you. You get a pick six or something like that, and which, by the way, Auburn has not turned the ball over this year much. That's the irony of this. Is like that was the issue last year. Issues this year are different. I just feel like this could be a dam can burst on you game where Auburn's got some, or it didn't show last week, but Missouri does have some explosive playmakers.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Catch our recaps afterwards. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.